Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is my review of Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, Episode 2, Hidden Inventory 2. I think everything's 2 right now. Either way guys, my name is Andres and I'm excited to break this episode down, so let's discuss. So we start the episode off with what we thought was going to be the first big battle of the season, with Curse User Group Q taking on Gojo and Geto, and what we got instead was them single-handedly putting them out of business. I thought this was absolutely hysterical, especially when Homie was talking about how Bayer is their best fighter and he's going to take them all on and he's going to defeat them, and Geto shows him a picture of Bayer basically being whooped up by Gojo. This is one of the best things that Jujutsu Kaisen does, which is subversion, showing us something that we assume would happen in a big anime like this one, and what we get instead is probably quite the opposite. This is one of the best things that Jujutsu Kaisen does, and I felt like this opening scene was absolutely hysterical. From here we jump to Papa Fushiguro betting on boat races, and we learn about his plan to create his own Excomunicado bounty on Rico in order to wear down Geto and Gojo with other cursed users. And I like that we learn a little bit more about his personality as well, and the fact that he's slightly off, he's slightly kind of crazy, and it's not just because he wears chanclas everywhere he goes. But we also learn that his perspective on Gojo comes from a place of respect, where he explains a little bit more about Gojo's power set, where he says that he's the first curse user in over 100 years or hundreds of years that has both the 6 eyes and the limitless techniques. So we know Fushiguru respects Gojo's power set, and I like that we're learning more about Gojo's techniques, his power, how he develops it, how he refines it, and how Fushiguro views him, and I'm assuming we're gonna get a little bit more of that as they face off later on in the season. Another thing that's really cool about this episode is we learn about Riko, her personality, and her perspective on the whole Tengen assimilation ritual that's about to take place later on, I'm assuming in this season, where she doesn't view it as her ceasing to exist, but instead a perfect fusing of Tengen and of Riko, where she is equally a part of him as he is a part of her. I was thinking more about how Piccolo and Nail fused together. Obviously that's Dragon Ball reference, but that's kind of how I viewed it, where they would both have control of the body in some way, where their consciousness was still there. But I feel like Gojo and Geto kind of shot down that theory, where they said that Tengen would take over completely, because obviously Tengen is the immortal person who is the one who's going to be inside of her body. It's a very interesting perspective, and I'm assuming Riko is going to be a character that we're going to keep going back to in this first half of the season. So I like that we're learning a little bit more about her and the perspective of Geto and Gojo when viewing her. Now I gotta talk about probably my favorite moment in the episode, which is the old man facing off against Geto. Obviously the old man does his own calculations in his head about who Geto is, the fact that he is a curse manipulator, so he probably doesn't have a close combat style of fighting. So this old man assumes that he uses his own experience, so he gets in close, and we immediately do a hard cut to him running into a gorgeous little puppy. And I thought this scene meant he just died and went to his own heaven, which I thought would have been way funnier. And obviously that's not the case. We learned that his life flashes before his eyes, so he sees his favorite puppy that he had growing up and the only puppy that accepted him. And obviously this is a weird mix of tenderness, where you kind of feel bad for the old guy and you kind of feel for his love of this little adorable puppy, but also hysterical dark humor, because it's really funny to see him get beat up by Geto and his life flash before his eyes, and the first thing he sees is this gorgeous little puppy. I think this scene was absolutely funny, and it shows a little bit about what Jujutsu Kaisen can do with their own dark humor, which I think is a specialty of theirs. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a really good balance of battle sequences and learning a little bit more about these new characters that we don't know too well. We learned a little bit more about Riko, a little bit more about Fushiguro, and it has a really good balance of personality, humor, battle sequences, everything that we love inside Jujutsu Kaisen, and the perfect thing to follow up a second episode of a second season of an anime. So I enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you guys thought. What was your favorite moment? Was it the puppy moment of the old man? Was it learning more about Gojo? All that good stuff. Let me know in the comments down below. But either way, guys, you can follow me at Squad Leader Ace on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff. And you can also subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. I'm going to be talking about more anime, more Jujutsu Kaisen, so make sure you do that. But either way, guys, I'm going to be peacing out, so deuces. Peace.